Listen to me. Not tomorrow. Not next week. This morning. Because the moment you opened your eyes today, life handed you a blank check. And most people cashed it for excuses. But not you. You're here. And that means something inside you knows today is different. This morning is not ordinary. This morning is a line in the sand. Let me tell you why. This morning interrupts the story you've been telling yourself on repeat. The quiet lie that said you're late, the window closed, that the best version of you already passed you by. They're not magic. That lie has been comfortable because it lets you stay still. But comfort has been costing you everything. This morning doesn't ask what happened before. It doesn't review your failures or replay your worst moments. It arrives clean, unapologetic, untouched by your regret. And that's the power of right now. Nothing owns it until you decide what it means. You've been carrying old chapters into new days, waking up already exhausted by yesterday, rehearsing pain like it's your identity. But hear this clearly, survival is not your ceiling. Just because something hurt you doesn't mean it gets to house you. And they're not magic. This morning says you are not required to live in memories that no longer serve your growth. You can honor what you've been through without letting it handcuff what you're becoming. The moment you recognize that, you feel the shift, subtle but real. There is a dangerous habit of waiting for permission to move forward. Permission from people who doubted you, situations that broke you, or outcomes didn't go your way. This morning strips that illusion away. You don't need approval to evolve. You don't need validation to begin again. They're not magic. The fact that you woke up is the only authorization required. Life didn't keep you here by accident. And the sooner you stop negotiating with your past, the faster your future opens up. Now, you may think your past defines your limits, but it only reveals your resilience. Every setback sharpened you. Every disappointment trained you. You didn't lose time, you gained perspective. This morning reframes everything you thought disqualified you and turns it into evidence that you're built for more. Built to adapt. Built to rise. Built to outgrow versions of yourself that once felt permanent. That's not weakness. That's evolution in motion. There is power in choosing a new narrative before the world tries to assign one to you. This morning invites you to speak differently to yourself. Not with false positivity. They're not magic. But with truth and authority. You are not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. You are not broken. You are refined. When you stop telling yourself the story of what went wrong and start telling the story of what's still possible, your posture changes. Your energy changes. Your decisions change. This morning is the interruption you didn't know you needed. A clean break from the excuses that once kept you safe, but now keep you small. You don't erase the past. You release its control. And not once you do, you realize something powerful. The story you've been living is not the story you're sentenced to finish. They're not magic. This moment proves that chapter close without your permission. And new ones can begin the second you decide to turn the page. This morning exposes a truth you've been avoiding. You are far more powerful than the version of yourself you've been playing. Not because you suddenly gained something new, and they're not magic, but because you finally paused long enough to recognize what's already there. The strength it took to keep showing up when life felt heavy. The endurance it took to survive seasons that tried to hollow you out. Those weren't accidents. Those were signals. Evidence. Proof that power has been living inside you long before you ever believed in it. You've mistaken exhaustion for weakness and adaptation for limitation. You told yourself you were tired because you weren't capable, when in reality, you were tired because you've been carrying more than most people ever just did. You endured. They're not magic. You figured out when there was no manual and no applause. That kind of resilience doesn't disappear. It waits. This morning pulls the cover off that truth and forces you to see yourself clearly without minimizing. See yourself clearly, what you've already conquered. Power isn't loud at first. They're not magic. It doesn't announce itself with confidence or clarity. Sometimes it shows up as persistence. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when you don't feel seen. They're not magic. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to quit, even when quitting would be easier. You've been doing that for years. You just didn't call it strength. This morning gives it a name. They're not magic. It reminds you that survival was never the end goal. It was training. There's a difference between not having power and not using it. Most people confuse the two. Their lives and spend their lives waiting to feel ready. Ready is a myth. Power is revealed in motion, not in comfort. This morning confronts you with that reality. You don't need permission, to activate what's already inside you. You don't need more confidence to take the step. Confidence comes after the step. The moment you act. No, they're not magic. Power rises to meet you. You've been measuring yourself against people who never walked your path, never carried your weight, never faced your obstacles. That comparison distorted your self-perception. This morning corrects it. Your journey required a different kind of strength. Quiet, steady, unbreakable. And now that strength is no longer hidden. It's ready to be directed, focused, sharpened into something unstoppable. What once kept you alive can now push you forward. The most dangerous thing is is not failing. It's underestimating yourself, living beneath your capacity, because you never pause to recognize your own force. This morning doesn't flatter you, it challenges you. It demands that you stop shrinking your potential to fit old circumstances. You are not unprepared. You are not behind. You are standing on years of unseen discipline. And when you finally choose to move from that place, everything changes. Not because the world shifted, but because you did. This morning removes the comfort of blame. It strips away the habit of pointing outward and asks you to look directly at the one place real change begins. Not to shame you, not to overwhelm you, but to empower you. Because the truth is, blame has been a shelter. It protected you from disappointment, from responsibility, from the fear of trying and falling short. But it also kept you stuck. This morning makes it clear staying comfortable is no longer an option. You've been waiting on circumstances to shift, people to change, timing to improve. They're not magic. But waiting quietly hands your authority to forces that don't have your best interest in mind. Ownership is not about denying hardship. It's about refusing to let hardship decide who you become. The moment you accept that this life is yours to steer, no matter how unfair the road has been, you take back control. That realization is heavy, but it's also liberating. There is a difference between fault and responsibility. Some things that happen to you are not your fault, but healing, growth, and direction are still your responsibility. This morning demands that distinction. Not so you carry guilt, but so you carry power. Because when you accept responsibility, you stop waiting to be rescued. You stop hoping for permission. You stop delaying your rise. You become the decision maker in your own life. Excuses are subtle. They're not magic. They don't always sound like weakness. Sometimes they sound like logic. They're not magic. I'll start when things calm down. I'll move when I feel ready. I can because of what they did. This morning exposes those phrases for what they are. Delays disguised as reasons. And no, they're not magic. Ownership doesn't ask if you're ready. It asks if you're willing. Willing to be uncomfortable. Willing to be accountable. Willing to act without guarantees. Taking ownership doesn't mean carrying everything alone. It means owning your response. Owning your effort. Owning the standards you set for yourself when no one is watching. It means deciding that your future matters more than your excuses. That your growth deserves consistency, not convenience. This morning calls you to that level of integrity. The kind that doesn't depend on motivation or applause. When you step into ownership, something shifts internally. You speak with clarity. You move with intention. They're not magic. You stop me. You stop negotiating with the life, say you want. This morning marks that shift. The moment you stop asking why things happened and start asking what you're going to do about it. And once that question becomes your daily focus, progress is no longer optional. And no, this morning draws a hard line between intention and execution. You've spent enough time thinking about change, visualizing it, talking yourself into circles about it. Thought has its place, but thought without movement becomes a cage. This morning reminds you that clarity is earned through action, not contemplation. You don't wait. Feel powerful before you move. You move. They're not magic. And power follows. That's how transformation begins. You've been taught to wait for motivation, to treat it like a prerequisite. But motivation is unstable. It rises and falls with emotion. Action is different. Action doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you're committed to. This morning challenges the belief that you need to be inspired to start. The truth is, starting is what creates inspiration. One step, taken without certainty, does more than hours of mental preparation ever could. Small actions feel insignificant, and that's why most people avoid them. They want a dramatic shift, a lightning bolt moment. But momentum is built quietly. One decision compounds into another. They're not magic. One disciplined choice changes the direction of your day, then your week, then your life. This morning places your focus on what's controllable right now. Not the whole mountain, just the next step forward. There will be resistance. Your mind will offer reasons to delay, distractions to pull you away, comfort to keep you where you are. This is where action matters most. Action cuts through doubt. It silences overthinking. It replaces fear with evidence. Every time you move despite hesitation, you teach yourself that discomfort is survivable and that confidence is built, not given. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. Perfection is another form of procrastination. This morning calls for imperfect action. Real, messy, honest movement. Messy movement. Progress isn't about getting everything right. It's about getting something started. When you act, you create feedback. You learn. You adjust. But none of that happens while you're waiting. Action changes how you see yourself. Each step reinforces a new identity. Someone who follows through. They're not magic. Someone who does what they say. Someone who moves even when it's hard. This morning is not about a burst of energy. It's about commitment in motion. Now, not the kind that builds trust with yourself and turns intention into reality. This morning challenges the label you've been wearing like it's permanent. The one shaped by old mistakes, other people's opinions, and moments when you fell short. You've been introducing yourself to life as who you were, not who you are becoming. And that gap has been costing you confidence, clarity, and courage. This morning forces a confrontation with that identity and asks a dangerous question. Who are you when you stop rehearsing the past? You've been saying things about yourself so long that they feel factual. I'm not disciplined, I'm not consistent, that's just how I am. But repetition does not make something true, it makes it familiar. This morning exposes how much of your identity has been built on outdated information. You are judging yourself by moments, not by capacity, by history, not by potential. And until that changes, every goal will feel heavier than it needs to be. Identity always comes before behavior. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your self-image. This morning invites you to shift the way you see yourself at the core. Not with affirmations that feel hollow, but with alignment. You begin to act like the person you say you want to become. You make decisions from that place. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start asking, "What would the person I'm becoming do right now?" The language you use matters more than you think. "I'm trying" keeps you in limbo. "I'm becoming" puts you in motion. This morning demands precision in how you